I have dedicated my professional career to the study and control of arthropods.
Empty without Jesus. Well, I'm going to make a another video response to you. I made several, almost 2 months ago. I'm assuming you watched them or saw at least one of them. I was hoping for a response. I would have liked to have heard what you had to say about it. But and then I every so often I'll check back on your channel. It's an interesting channel, and I noticed that you, after a long break, started making a whole slew of videos in the last week again. So I started watching them, and I made it I made it to the first one. I didn't make it very far, and I thought, I'm going to respond to this. Maybe I'll respond to some others. I don't know what else you're going to say, so I thought. But this is your video. Oh man, I should have memorized the title. I don't have any notes with me this time, so Atheists have no moral barometer. Now I'm going to answer this one. This is, again, kind of a common Pratt, points refuted 1,000 times, or actually not refuted isn't the right word in this case, because it's not really a fact. It's more of a opinion or a point of view. So it's been discussed 1,000 times, but that doesn't sound very good. But I thought, what I'm doing is I'm offering you my opinion on it, how I feel about the point you raised. I believe you start off talking about, I don't have any, again, I have no notes, so I'm kind of going from memory, and I hope I don't mess something up here. But you start off with the golden rule. You start off with Jesus' discussion on do unto others, which I have discussed in videos in the last month or so. I've discussed that a couple of times, but specifically, I hold that up to be a fairly good. It's not an airtight moral code, but it's a good moral code. It's a general good moral code. It's a good rule to live by. Again, there are exceptions to it. There are points when you can sit around and be snarky and invent a what if whatever. You could invent a what if scenario where you would not want somebody to do whatever. People wouldn't want you to do unto them as you don't mind having done unto you, or something. There's that scenario. But overall, it's a fairly good, and it's one I utilize in my day-to-day life. But you say, why? Because it's meaningless. First, I'm going to ignore your. I understand you were creating a hypothetical, but I'm gonna pretend you just said you're an atheist, and here's what you believe. Okay, I'm not going to go into you've read every book in the universe, because that's like saying, if I had 3 asses, I would be something. It doesn't make any difference. I don't know what I would be like if I read every book in the universe. Maybe I would be absolutely uncaring and so apathetic that I would just lay there and die. I don't know. I don't know what all of the books in the universe contain. Okay, I don't have absolute knowledge. I am an atheist because I absolutely don't believe in God. I don't say I have proof there's no God. I'm not stating that as a scientific fact. I'm stating that I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Santa Claus. I don't have absolute proof there's no Santa Claus. I wouldn't state that as an absolute scientific fact. You see what I'm saying? But I absolutely don't believe in God. If somebody asked me to place a bet, my money would be on there being no God. I'm not an agnostic, so I can tell you what I believe as an atheist, as what I believe about morality is that I don't believe that therefore everything's meaningless. Okay, I don't believe that in the slightest bit, because I believe that due to an accident of birth, due to a chance of one particular sperm and one particular egg meeting up, and all of the difficulties of pregnancy and all of the subsequent life-threatening situations that we all find ourselves in, and things that could have gone horribly wrong and things that went right, and all of that stuff shaped me into a human being that I am today. Okay, contingencies. Rewind the clock, it would never happen in the same path again. It would happen completely differently given different odds. The person I am today, I have, be optimistic here. Let's say I have 80, 90 years. Pretty much tops, I'll say that. That's probably fair. On average, an American male, about 76, whatever, maybe it's higher now. Anyway, that's how many years I have. I want those years to be enjoyable. I want those years to be comfortable for me, right? I want to, during that time period, reproduce and spread my genes. I don't actually think it that way, but nonetheless, that's a biological imperative. I want to, again, I guess the other ones all relate to it. So therefore, I live in a society where there are expectations of me. I don't believe there's some afterlife punishment. I don't believe that the universe, the cosmos, somehow is going to be significantly impaired if I just, I don't know, like you said, get a gun and just shoot everybody I see. And if I go to jail, big deal. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to hurt people. I hate causing pain. It makes me feel pain. It's empathy. Okay? Empathy is an evolutionary response. We see it in chimpanzees. We see it in rhesus monkeys. Just like we see a sense of fairness in rhesus monkeys. They've done a study on equal pay for equal work with rhesus monkeys. I'm not going to dig up the link for it. But essentially they found that if you give one monkey something for the same amount of work and give another monkey more for the same amount of work and that other one sees it, they get really, really pissed off. Okay? They know the difference between somebody getting more than them and it makes them mad. That's a sense of fairness. We're social animals. We find similar, analogous, if not homologous type things in social animals across the spectrum, from shrimp to human beings. We can't pretend we know what's in their minds, but we see this tit-for-tat reciprocation. We see the caring for other individuals in our group that are not related to us. We see that, and they've done experimental manipulation of that in social animals, and we find that under the situations that things like game theory, social altruism, which was a big part of that, predict are indeed the case. Okay, when you remove the reward being reciprocation, I treat people decently, and I expect to be treated decently. And if I'm not treated decently, then I'm like that rhesus monkey that got they got a cucumber chip instead of the grapes. I'm really, really mad about it. So anyway, the point of this ramble is that my life has meaning. Okay? I've created a life for myself, and I don't mean I've created my own existence. I mean I've created, I learned the rules of the game. I've learned the rules of the social game. Part of my behaviors are instinctual. I naturally am inclined towards certain things, just like primates we see almost across the board are. I have those same needs and drives as they do. And I also, on top of that, have the ability to reason and look and analyze, and I can overcome those instinctual things when needed. I can go above and beyond some of my instincts. I'm not entirely sure how many, again, that's a question, how much free will biologically we really have. I don't know. But, and I have children. I have genetic offspring, and I want their lives. Their lives are more important than mine. Okay, their lives are critically important, and I know biology has programmed me to feel that way. That doesn't lessen the feeling in any way. I could not live without my children. If something happened to my children, I wouldn't go on. I couldn't do it. I'm not strong as those parents I see on television. I can't. I couldn't. I know my brain. It's one of those. I don't know if you ever have a thought where your brain kind of leafs through its little file folder and comes across a thought and recoils so badly that you can't even think about it. That's how I am with something happening to my children. So, again, my life, I guide things in my life. Do I want to sit home and play video games and not go to work? I'd love to. That'd be great. But that ruins my quality of life, ruins my children's quality of life. It affects my genetic potential, What good is my life if everybody in my life leaves me, if nobody can stand to be around me? You see what I'm saying? So anyway, that's my answer to your question. I'm going to watch the rest of your videos. So thanks.